Hey, welcome to day 4. Gosh, doesn't time just fly when you're having so much fun? So how are you feeling today? You've learned a lot about yourself over the last few days, and that must have been quite uncomfortable for some, and actually probably some revealing for others. But regardless of how you're feeling at the moment, I've got something for you today that is going to make you want to pull your hair out. Yeah, and you're welcome. Now remember, this is all about challenging you. So I've given you my why sheet. Yeah, my why sheet I created quite early on. It was after I finished my life coaching course, okay, and it was designed to challenge you. I created it because I use a word in there quite often, and it's called why. Why? Now, when you think about the word why, the answers tend to be because. I don't know about you growing up, but the standard response from my mum always was, you need to go and do this. And I go, why? Because. But I want to have, no. I was a good girl when I was younger. My sister's probably not, but I was the good one. So I was really obedient and I always did as I was told, you know. And lucky for me, I have a child like that as well. But now I've realized actually that having a child that isn't like that, actually, I probably could have done, you know, with him being a little bit more forceful. So let me share with you something, okay? It was after I'd completed my life coaching course that I realized that our inner 4-year-olds all need to come out. Our inner 4-year-olds, okay, are so annoying to everybody else. We didn't know at the time when we're younger, just walking around, I want that biscuit. No. Why? And the word why can sometimes, I don't know about you, but for me as a parent, it kind of sends shivers down my spine, or it used to. I'm not saying now I'm a perfect parent, but I now change the word why. It's not just for business, it's not just for family, it's changed the whole concept of how I now view the word why. Why is just a question. It's a very easy question, why? And somebody's just asking for an answer. And the answers no and because are not answers. You don't actually answer the question when somebody says, why? If your boss asked you, can you go and do that? And you say, no. Or, you know, why? You say why, and they say, because, you know, it'd be like, you wouldn't really know what direction it was headed in. You ask your staff to do the same thing because I told you to do it. Your staff probably wouldn't feel that appreciated. Now, some of us work in workplaces like that. I know, I was there. We just had to do as we were told. But let me explain. No is not an answer. Because is not an answer. Now, when my youngest used to challenge me, as he has done his whole life, okay, he would ask me the question, I want this. And I'd go, no. Why? He wasn't doing it to upset me. He was asking a question, and all he needed back was an answer. But most of the time I'd say why, it would then cause a tantrum. He'd throw himself on the floor and kick something, and then something else would fall over, and then chaos would ensue. Sound familiar? And it's not because he wanted to do all of that. It's just that I was being horrible. I wasn't giving him an answer. Whilst yet he was asking for an answer. That was all he was asking for, was an answer. But why do we feel that we can't answer these whys? No, and because that is what was drilled into us, and this is now what we should be now doing going forward. Maybe, but maybe not. Because once we learn to tap into our inner why, magic things happen. You know that. Okay, so here we go. So My why sheet today has got some series of questions for you, and I want you to tap into your 4-year-old self, and I want you to make I want you to stand there and stamp your own feet and get that answer from you, because this time you're going to ask yourself why, and you're going to go, I don't know, or no, or because is going to be your default answer when you come to this sheet. And I don't want you to write because. I want you to dig deeper. I want you to have a tantrum on yourself until you get that answer. Because you have to stop using the word because as an answer. I didn't call that client last week. Why? Oh, because. No. Okay, let's find the why. So let's look at the questions from your sheet. Who am I? This should be a little bit easier now that you now know who you are. The last few days, if they've taught us anything, actually, is about looking at ourselves. And then I want you to write down, what do I have? This should be fairly easy because now you can actually appreciate who you are, what you've done, and what you have for yourself. And then ask yourself, what do I want? Okay, you'll see the worksheet, okay? It's actually a completely editable one online. And I'd like you to save it and then go back and then, do it again in a couple of months' time, because these things are going to keep changing. And then after what do I want you to write down, why do I want it? Don't put because. I want you to be brutally honest with yourself. Okay, and then say, what will I do? Okay, and what is my number one aim? What do you want to achieve from it? And why is that my number one priority? Why? Why is it my number one priority? If any of these questions are too hard, leave it. 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, an hour. Don't leave it more than a day. So I tell you, I want you to get in there, okay? And I want you to really stamp your feet and scream and kick and cry until you give yourself the answer. And you will, and it may not be nice, and it may be really uncomfortable, and it might seem completely sometimes woo-woo. I don't know. But I want you to go and find that answer, because that answer is inside you. And then I want you to ask yourself, what is non-negotiable? Now, we all have our non-negotiables. Now, should I tell you my non-negotiable? I wanted to have my own business. You guys already know that. But my non-negotiable for my own business is that I will not work 20 hours a day. I will not go back to that. And you knew that already as well. That is my non-negotiable. I will not work 20 hours a day. It doesn't matter how much money somebody's going to throw at me. I'm not going to do it. Why? That's the next question, isn't it? Why? Why would I not? Because I want to spend time with my children. I want to spend time with my husband. I want to continue having this role as mum in my family. I want to do the school run that I missed out on for so many years because I was working for someone else. I gave up all of that time, all of those years. This is my non-negotiable, and that is the reason why. I now know that. I have my why. And when you have your why and you put it down on paper and you read it back to yourself, you instill in yourself that that is the damn reason why. So I ask you, okay, go through it and ask yourself why, and make it really clear to yourself why you're doing it. And if when you read it, you go, yeah, that sounds about right, you've probably not given yourself the real reason why. Because your real reason why is going to make you almost cry, because it's going to be so true to you. Then I want you to ask yourself the question as you continue through the sheet, why am I the one to do this? Why not that girl that you worked with, or your sister, or your husband, or your children, or anybody else you know that is otherwise capable as well? Why you? Why are you the one to do this? Okay. And then who are you doing it for? And why? Okay. Now I know you're going to probably want to pick this up, screw it up, throw it in the bin, curse, go. It's after this, I'm not doing anything else. I'm actually giving up right now. Don't give up. As I told you, every day you're going to learn something about yourself, and look at what you've already learned about yourself over the last few days. And day 4, this is now, we're halfway through after today, okay? We are now really tackling the hard stuff. We're asking ourselves why. So I want you to take that why, I want you to find it, I want you to really feel it. And I want you to write that why down on your sheet. And I want it to resonate with you so hard, okay, that you'd do anything to do it. You would move mountains to make it possible. Because if you can feel it inside you, everything is possible. Now, I've not asked you to go write a business plan here. I've just asked you a couple of small questions actually, and then the reason why you're doing it. Everything from here on, you know, for the next few days, okay, will be laid out for you. Okay, there's going to be some more questions. But for today, I want you to go channel your inner 4-year-old. I want you to go and ask yourself the uncomfortable question of why. And I want you to make sure that you don't ever use the word now because. And next time your youngster comes to you and says, 10 minutes before dinner, I want a biscuit. Instead of saying no and they say why, and then you say because, maybe explain to them that their belly is only this big and this biscuit is going to take up half of that belly, and then they won't have space for that nice dinner that you're cooking for them. Because do you know what? That makes a huge difference to a child. And actually then they can almost see it themselves as well. And it actually creates a nice chat. And by the time you finish dinner, you're actually then serving up. So go and explore the word why. And don't be afraid of it. It's lovely once you've